Okay, believe it or not, I am still backlogged on GAC 3s, so gonna catch up these last two, even though they are totally irrelevant. Sorry, I am delinquent yet again. Today is Wednesday the 9th, the new or second round of Galactic Legendary requirements came out. Light side seems to be the easy one. We probably all expected that. I think I even prognosticated on that in one of my recent videos. Light side was going to be easier, and I know I prognosticated that Jedi Knight Luke was going to be necessary, and there he is. So no surprises there or anywhere on light side. No surprises really on the dark side either, but who the fuck wants to relic Sidious and Darth Maul? I mean, God. I mean, if Sidious gets a rework like he so desperately needs, then he could be a great character. He should be a great character because it's Sidious. I mean, you see how effective Palpatine, the character, is even now, effective and relevant, especially with Vader's touch-up. So maybe Sidious will get a touch-up or a rework and be relevant because, I mean, the whole prequel trilogy happened because of Sidious, and here he is, one of the least effective characters in the game. So hopefully that will be remedied. Dark side a little bit more expensive, like I said. I mean, Dooku, Maul, Sidious, need to relic those. Marauder, although most people have Marauder probably at least at Relic 5. Piet, I just Relic 5'd Piet today. Yeah, man, Maul and Sidious are just terrible relics. Just terrible. I wonder if Savage will need to be. Probably not, because that's a little bit too far removed from Palpatine or Sidious. Savage is Maul's brother and apprentice, who was Dooku's apprentice, or Sidious's apprentice, and there's Dooku you have to do. Savage was Dooku's apprentice, briefly, almost as an undercover or sleeper agent. But yeah, so maybe Savage is a little bit too far removed for him to be included in the next round, but who knows? I did, however, prognosticate that we weren't going to have a whole lot of overlap between First Order and Resistance characters with relics because we already have them. And why would CG give us that easy out? So yeah, I don't expect to see many, if any, Resistance or First Order, really. We already got the overlap in OG Palpatine. Yeah, so I don't, I think there was one more overlap. I don't know, I can't remember. R2? Maybe? Yeah, I think R2 might be overlap. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so I'm good to go on all light side, and for dark side, all I have to do is 13 and relic Sidious. Mine is like 12.3 or something like that. Horde harder. Haven't really spent any in Swigo for a long time, except for that $100 pack that you can get 5 Zeta salvage for. That's the only thing I've bought in like the last... Actually, I think the last thing I bought before that was that same pack the last time it was out, because Piet, I had saved an awful lot of crystals. I had about 30-something thousand crystals when Piet dropped, and I burnt all those, and then I did it the quote-unquote free-to-play day by day with arena and fleet payouts for the most part, or rather the balance of it. So yeah, I've really only spent that in the last couple months. I think we had that same pack last month. So I am, knock on wood, being somewhat of a good boy. I have spent maybe a couple $100 in Game of Thrones, not because I had to, simply because I wanted to. The Game of Thrones game, like I have said ad nauseum, is pretty easy to be free to play and be top of your realm. My realm is apparently, I've just found this out, close to one of the original realms, River Run '07. And I would say I'm easily within the top 25 players in the realm / the server, without really having spent all that much. Couple $100. I would be surprised if my total expenditures in Game of Thrones, I'd be very surprised if it was more than $500. I've been playing it for about, it's got to be 5 months now, at least. Something like that. Yeah, look, intellectual property wise, it's not Star Wars, okay? Let's not kid ourselves. Game of Thrones is great, but it is not Star Wars. But it's not as tiresome as Swigo. The dailies take longer in Game of Thrones, and they don't feel as much of a chore as the dailies do here. And by dailies, I'm also including like Arena and GAC or whatever, because while there isn't a GAC, so to speak, in Game of Thrones, there's a lot of other stuff. I mean, the dailies take me probably an hour and a half, honestly, in Game of Thrones, and it takes me far less time in Swigo, and Swigo feels like more of a chore. Could that be due to the comparative novelty of Game of Thrones compared to Swigo, which I've been playing for over 5 years? Entirely possible. But I think that the largest part of it is attributable to the fact that I don't have to spend to stay, relevant, but top-ish of the server. So that's the good thing about Game of Thrones. But again, when we're talking about intellectual property, the franchise Star Wars is far and away, unequivocally better, deeper than Game of Thrones. I don't hate Swigo as much as I did 2 months ago. So that's good news. That's very good news, I think. I do hate GAC 3s, which is why I still haven't made this video yet. I mean, this video's probably 2 months old. Sorry. I have been playing, so Bella got me Ghost of Tsushima for my birthday, which happens to be tomorrow. Don't make a big deal of it. I really hate my birthday. I'll explain why either later in this video or the next video. But Ghost of Tsushima is awesome. I have played it almost nonstop for a week, and I am not even halfway through the game. Partially because I'm OCD, and anytime there is a side quest or tertiary quest or just a distraction, I go and complete it because I like having the whole map discovered. I don't like the fog of war. And anytime a map has fog of war on it, my OCD triggers. So I end up doing a lot of the secondary, tertiary, completely optional objectives before I advance the storyline, which is why I'm not even halfway done with the game, despite having played it for pretty much the last week straight. But the game is awesome. You want to talk about games that had a lot of time and thought and energy and even research put into them? Play Ghost of Tsushima. It is, if you've played Shadows of Mordor, it is very, 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 very similar, except there is a discernible plot. I enjoyed Shadows of Mordor tremendously. I loved that game, partially because it reminded me very much like Arkham Asylum, the OG Arkham Asylum, which was great. Shadows of Mordor, obviously open world, so that's better than Arkham, which is not open world. Shadows of Mordor and Ghosts of Tsushima, very, 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 very similar. You're less ninja-like in Ghost of Tsushima than you are in Shadows of Mordor, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the plot, if there even was any, for Shadows of Mordor. But for Tsushima, the plot is good and interesting. There's a lot of depth to the game. The only thing that I do kind of wish was I kind of wish it had sort of like almost like a butterfly effect thing. But that may have been a bridge too far because there is a lot in that game. I mean, they put so much time and effort and thought into that game. Yeah. And while I'm not sure if the story itself is even remotely true, Mongols did try to invade Tsushima. So